Your liver is cleaning your blood right now, silently, without you knowing. What you ate yesterday is still being processed by it. Most people believe their liver is tough enough to handle anything, but after 50, it works differently. The foods you've tolerated for decades might be asking too much from it now. You probably grab that afternoon soda without thinking, or enjoy a nice dinner with wine, or pick up those convenient frozen meals because they're quick. These feel normal. They feel fine. But your liver has been quietly working overtime, and at some point, fine becomes not fine. Hi there, I'm Dr. Livia Carter. I've spent the last decade helping people over 50 understand what's really happening inside their bodies, not to scare them, but to help them make choices that actually matter. Today, I want to talk about your liver, because it's one of the most important organs you have, and it's also one you can genuinely help. Here's what we're going to do together today. I'm going to walk you through 8 foods and drinking habits that can quietly stress your liver as you age. Not to make you feel bad about what you've eaten, but to help you understand why small changes now can make a real difference in how you feel 5, 10, and 20 years from now. By the time we're done, you'll know exactly which foods are working against your liver, why your body processes them differently after 50, and, most importantly, what you can actually do about it. You'll feel empowered, not overwhelmed. Let me start with something important. Your liver is the only organ in your body that can completely regenerate itself. You can remove 2/3 of it and it will grow back. That's remarkable. But that regenerative power doesn't mean it's invincible. Think of your liver like a water filter in your kitchen. Incredibly useful, very durable, but if you run dirty water through it constantly without ever giving it a break, eventually it gets clogged. After 50, the liver becomes less efficient at processing toxins and healing itself. The same foods that maybe didn't bother you at 35 can start to accumulate damage by the time you're 60 or 70. Here's the good news. Your liver is listening to your choices right now. Even if you've treated it poorly in the past, it's ready to respond positively to better choices moving forward. So let's talk about the first food that can stress your liver. Alcohol is the most straightforward one. Now, I'm not here to say you can never have wine or a cocktail again, but I want you to understand what's happening. When alcohol enters your body, your liver has to process every single molecule of it. That's its job. Alcohol is toxic, that's a fact, and your liver neutralizes that toxicity. But after 50, this process becomes slower. Your liver metabolism changes. A glass of wine takes longer to process. Drink regularly, and your liver is constantly working overtime, producing scar tissue slowly over time. This isn't about judgment. It's about understanding that the dose matters more as you age. What does this look like in real life? Many of my patients tell me they've had a glass of wine every evening for 40 years with no problems. Then one day, at 58 or 62, they get blood work done and their liver enzymes are elevated. They're shocked. The difference isn't that wine suddenly became bad. The difference is that their liver's capacity to recover from it decreased. That's the shift. The second category of foods I want to discuss is ultra-processed foods loaded with trans fats. Things like packaged cookies, certain margarines, some fast food items, and shelf-stable baked goods. Trans fats are particularly damaging because they don't break down easily in your liver. They accumulate as fatty deposits. Your liver then spends energy trying to process fats it was never designed to process. Over time, this can lead to fatty liver disease. And here's what's important. You might not feel sick from this. You might feel completely normal. Fatty liver disease is silent. People often discover it by accident during an ultrasound for something else. Have you ever noticed how certain packaged foods seem to stay fresh forever? That's because of those trans fats and preservatives. And if they don't spoil easily, think about what your liver has to do to process them. Third on our list is sugary drinks and foods high in high-fructose corn syrup. Sodas, many juices, sweetened teas, energy drinks, and even some flavored waters. Now, your liver processes all sugar, but fructose, the kind in high-fructose corn syrup, is particularly hard on it. Here's why. Glucose, the other main sugar, can be used by any cell in your body. But fructose? Almost all of it goes directly to your liver. Your liver then converts the excess into fat. Drink a soda every day, and you're delivering fructose directly to your liver daily. Over months and years, that's cumulative. What's really encouraging is that this one is perhaps the easiest to change. Replacing sugary drinks with water, herbal tea, or even unsweetened sparkling water can make a measurable difference in your liver health within weeks. The fourth category is fried foods. I'm talking about things like fried chicken, French fries, fried fish, donuts, and fried snacks. When food is fried, it's cooked in oil at high temperatures. This creates compounds called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These are inflammatory. Your liver has to work hard to process these compounds. Additionally, fried foods are often high in calories and trans fats, which we already discussed. The combination is particularly hard on your liver and also contributes to weight gain. And excess weight, specifically excess belly fat, is directly connected to fatty liver disease. So, fried foods create a double hit: direct damage from the compounds created during frying and indirect damage from the weight gain. Think of it this way: eating fried food is like asking your liver to clean up not just the food itself, but also the debris created by cooking it. It's extra work every single time. Fifth, let's talk about processed and cured meats, like deli meats, hot dogs, bacon, sausage, and ham. These foods are high in sodium and contain preservatives, particularly nitrates and nitrites. These preservatives help prevent bacterial growth and give the meat its color, but they also create inflammatory compounds when they break down. Your liver has to neutralize these inflammatory compounds. Additionally, these meats are often high in saturated fat. Regular consumption raises inflammation in your entire body, including in your liver. How often do you grab a sandwich with deli turkey or sliced bacon for breakfast? For many of us, it's several times a week without a second thought. The sixth food is something many people don't think about: certain vegetable oils, particularly when heated at high temperatures. I'm talking about oils like soybean oil, corn oil, and canola oil, the ones that are often used in restaurants and in packaged foods. These oils are very high in omega-6 fatty acids. Now, your body needs some omega-6, but the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 is important. In modern diets, most people consume way too much omega-6 and not nearly enough omega-3. This imbalance creates inflammation throughout your body, including in your liver. When these oils are heated to high temperatures, they break down further, creating even more inflammatory compounds. The encouraging news is that you can shift your cooking oils. Olive oil, coconut oil, and butter, yes, real butter, are much better choices for your liver, especially when you're cooking at home where you control the temperature. The seventh item is refined carbohydrates and sugary foods. Things like white bread, pastries, cakes, cookies, candy, and processed snacks. Here's what happens. When you eat refined carbohydrates, they break down very quickly in your body, causing a rapid spike in blood sugar. Your liver responds by releasing insulin to manage that sugar. But when this happens repeatedly, day after day, your liver can develop what's called insulin resistance. This is a precursor to type 2 diabetes, and it's also directly connected to fatty liver disease. The liver becomes less efficient at processing fats when it's constantly managing blood sugar spikes. It's like this. Imagine you're managing a household budget, and every day someone suddenly dumps a bunch of extra money that you have to process immediately. At first, you manage, but after months of this, your whole system gets overwhelmed and inefficient. That's what happens to your liver with constant refined carbs. And finally, the eighth category is raw or undercooked shellfish and foods that may be contaminated. This one is a bit different from the others. It's not about the food itself being inherently bad, but about safety. As we age, our immune system becomes slightly less robust. Raw oysters, clams, and mussels can sometimes carry hepatitis A or other pathogens that your liver has to fight off. In younger people, this usually passes without much notice. In people over 50, especially those with existing liver concerns, this can be more serious. The same goes for undercooked eggs. They can carry salmonella. Your liver has to deal with the infection. Additionally, consuming contaminated water or food, even slightly, taxes your liver's detoxification processes. This doesn't mean avoiding seafood. It means being smart about sourcing and cooking. Choosing reputable restaurants, cooking shellfish thoroughly, and being mindful about food safety is a simple way to support your liver's health. Now, before we move on, I want to address something important. You've just learned about 8 categories of foods that can stress your liver. But I don't want you to leave this video feeling like you can never eat again, or that everything you've enjoyed is suddenly forbidden. That's not how this works, and that's not how I practice medicine. The goal is awareness and balance. Understanding that these foods have an impact allows you to make conscious choices. Maybe you realize you can't have fried food every week like you used to, but you can have it occasionally. Maybe you decide that your evening glass of wine is worth it to you, and you accept that trade-off, and then you make sure your liver gets support in other ways. Maybe you decide that sugary drinks are the first thing to cut out, and you feel great doing that. What matters is that you're making choices from a place of knowledge, not habit. Let me give you some practical ways to notice if your liver is telling you something. Persistent fatigue, not the normal tiredness from a busy week, but a deep exhaustion that doesn't improve with rest, can be a sign. Unexplained weight gain, particularly around your belly, is another signal. Bloating, digestive issues, or a feeling of fullness even after eating small meals can indicate liver stress. Some people notice their eyes or skin taking on a slightly yellowish tint. That's jaundice, and it's more serious. Itchy skin, especially itching that doesn't improve with lotion, can be connected to liver function. Brain fog or difficulty concentrating sometimes shows up before other symptoms. Dark urine or very pale stool can also be signals. None of these symptoms automatically means you have liver disease, but they're your body's way of saying, something's off. Now, here's the practical part. Beyond avoiding these foods, what genuinely supports your liver? Movement matters. You don't need to run a marathon. 30 minutes of walking 5 days a week significantly improves liver function. Walking stimulates your metabolism and helps your body process fat more efficiently. Many of my patients find that this single change improves their fatigue and their liver enzymes. Water is your friend. This isn't about drinking a gallon a day, which can actually be too much. But staying genuinely hydrated, about 8 glasses of water daily, helps your liver flush toxins. Your liver uses water to process and eliminate waste. Without enough water, this becomes harder. Sleep is medicine. Your liver does much of its repair work at night while you sleep. If you're consistently getting only 5 or 6 hours, your liver doesn't get the time it needs to regenerate. Aim for 7 to 9 hours. This is not luxury. This is biological necessity. Moderate your overall food intake. Being overweight stresses your liver. You don't need a dramatic diet. You need a sustainable way of eating that maintains a healthy weight for your body. That might mean smaller portions, more vegetables, and fewer calories overall. Consider liver-supporting foods. Coffee is actually protective for the liver. Studies consistently show that people who drink coffee have better liver enzymes. Green tea has antioxidants that support liver health. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and cabbage help your liver's detoxification processes. Garlic and onions contain compounds that support liver health. Berries are full of antioxidants. None of these are magical, but together they support your liver in doing its job. Limit other stressors. If you take medications, be aware that your liver processes those too. Work with your doctor about the ones you really need. Excess stress raises inflammation, which affects your liver. Excessive heat exposure, long saunas or steam rooms, can stress your liver, so moderate those. Smoking damages your liver just like it damages your lungs. Here's what I want you to understand. Your liver health is connected to your overall health. A liver that's struggling often means your whole system is working harder than it needs to. When you support your liver, you're reducing inflammation throughout your body. You're improving your energy levels. You're reducing your risk of developing type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and cognitive decline. You're increasing the quality of your life right now. This isn't about adding years to your life. This is about adding life to your years. I've seen people in their 60s and 70s who said, "I can't give up. I've had it my whole life." And I understand that. But I've also seen those same people, 6 months after making changes, tell me they have more energy than they've had in 20 years. They sleep better. They feel sharper. Their clothes fit better. That's not deprivation. That's abundance in a different form. One more thing, and this is crucial. What I've shared today is educational information, but your situation might be different. Some of you might have genetic predispositions to liver disease. Some of you might already have fatty liver disease. Some of you might be on medications that affect how your liver processes food. Some of you might have already quit alcohol decades ago. You're not all starting from the same place. So take this information and apply it to your life in a way that makes sense for you. If you know you have liver concerns, that's actually great information. It means you can be more intentional about your choices. If you have family history of liver disease, that's a signal to pay extra attention. If you're on multiple medications, it's worth asking your doctor how each one affects your liver. Here's what I'd love to know. Which of these 8 foods surprised you the most? Or which one do you think you're willing to shift first? Drop a comment below. I read them and I love hearing what resonates with you and what challenges you're facing. This video is for educational purposes and shouldn't replace a conversation with your own doctor. If you have existing liver concerns, are on medications, or want personalized guidance, please talk with your healthcare provider. You know your body and your medical history better than anyone else. Next time, we're going to talk about something that affects almost everyone over 50, but that most people don't realize they can actually do something about. It's about energy levels, and it might surprise you what's really draining yours. Thank you for spending this time on your health. The fact that you're here, learning, asking questions, that matters. Your future self is going to thank you for the choices you make today. Take care of yourself.